Just 2 weeks ago, she guest starred on NBC's Parks and Rec. New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is also the author of her own bestseller, Off the Sidelines. And she's making political headlines for her plans not to join a Democratic boycott of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Matt goes one-on-one with her tonight.
Well, Megan, we went to Washington and we go up close with Senator Gillibrand. A chance to talk with her on Capitol Hill. It was the day of the State of the Union, where part of her job was putting a positive spin on the president's speech hours before he delivered it. Tonight, we go up close with Senator Gillibrand. Inside the Russell Rotunda, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand adeptly moves from one interview to the next. She rattles off thoughtful, detailed answers. She's viewed as a moderate voice in the Democratic Party.
I don't take on issues that are Democratic or Republican. I take on issues that are common sense, that make sense, that help middle-class families. And I think a lot of this middle-class tax agenda is something that really makes sense for New Yorkers. We need tax cuts in the middle class. You should also be eligible.
Senator Gillibrand is home in upstate New York during a break from Washington. She's praising legislation designed to prevent suicide in veterans. 2 years removed from a landslide election, this former corporate attorney is keenly aware of the public's lack of confidence in Congress.
Does it frustrate you that the public's opinion of Congress isn't what you'd like it to be, that these approval ratings continue to be on the low side? Or do you keep moving forward and don't pay attention?
I truly believe that Congress is broken, and I share the frustration of New Yorkers that Congress needs to get things done for them. And so I'm working very hard to not only listen to that, but to find Republicans who are willing to come together, find common ground, and get things done. That is our job, and so I'm hopeful we can be more productive.
Senator Gillibrand has the advantage of working on both sides of Congress. She worked in the House of Representatives initially, and then was appointed to the U.S. Senate, where she's now also been elected to her first term.
Clearly, we in Congress must look at how law enforcement must improve to be part of the solution.
You're a third of the way through your elected term. You've been in both sides of this House. Well, how do you feel you're doing in terms of your power and you being able to get your agenda out there?
Well, I'm trying to fight for New Yorkers, and so whether I'm fighting for college campus sexual assault bills to make sure our college campuses are safe, or whether I'm fighting for men and women in the military to end the scourge of sexual violence there, or whether I'm fighting for universal pre-K and college affordability, those are things that help families. And I feel my job really is to be a voice for New Yorkers and to be a voice for those who don't have the fancy lobbyists, or those who have no one fighting for them in Washington. I am their voice, and so that's really where I focus my time.
Her success taking on the military establishment on the issue of sexual assault has carved out an issue where she can lead. Despite being in the Senate minority, Senator Gillibrand feels this year she can get the Campus Accountability Act passed.
I think we can make our campuses safer. I really believe this Campus Safety Accountability Act will make a difference. We have wide bipartisan support for this bill. We're flipping the incentives on universities that are shoving these facts and statistics under the rug. These are people, these are our sons and our daughters, and they are experiencing violent crimes that there's no accountability for. And so I believe this will be a piece of legislation that will pass in this Congress and signed into law.
Only 6 years since being appointed to replace Hillary Clinton, Kirsten Gillibrand already has more seniority than half of her fellow senators. Her intellect and ability to bridge political gaps may give upstate New York a unique position of power in Washington for years to come. On occasion, you hear her name mentioned as a possible presidential candidate one day. On occasion. When it comes to campaign fundraising, another measure of somebody's power in Washington, Senator Gillibrand is in the top quarter of the U.S. senators. She has about $1.9 million in her campaign account. By way of perspective, though, New York's other senator, Chuck Schumer, who we hear from all the time, he has $13 million. But he's way at the top, so she's doing pretty well.
And you do have to remember, too, she's a mom. She spends her days in Washington, then races home to be with her family. So she's really juggling and doing that balancing act.
No doubt about it.